What the hell is going on, people? This is Periodic, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle, and we are ranking, once again, all of the Dokkan-Fest Extreme Z Awakenable units on the global side of the game.
I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watching cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my home.
So, as per usual, there's a few different tiers. Starting at the top, Xeno Tier. Below that, Grand Priest Tier. And then Guide Angel Tier. Then Beerus Tier, Supreme Kai Tier, Grand Kai Tier, King Kai Tier. And at the bottom is the Master Roshi Tier. JP only is the Extreme Z Awakenable Int UI Goku. He is not out on global as of yet, so that's why he's on the JP only. This is going to be a list that's going to be like an all-rounder type of list. How good are their links? How good are their active skills? How good are their passive skills? Their leader skills? How well do they conform into different teams? How great are they on their own team when they're built to the maximum? Are they great on Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, GT Legend of Goku event, etc., etc.? It's taking a wide array of facets and making the determination. And it's not going off of a single thing like APT and stuff like that. Because if you're going off of just one thing, then you're an actual moron. So let's start at the Master Roshi tier. So 4 units on this, and I can say the overall theme for them is not enough. And just kind of boring. Let's start with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I believe the first Extreme Z Awakened character. Greatly lowers defense. Only has attack for 7 turns. After that, he has nothing. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, kind of crappy. Next up is Super Vegito. People thought he was going to be like the best unit in the game with his EZA. Unfortunately, they really undertuned him. He only gains 40% attack and defense if he gets hit first. Now, the seeing a super attack animation is really good, but your HP has to be 40% or less. So that's really going to only work. And by the way, that you have to start the turn at 40% HP. It's not like you can get hit, drop below 40, and then suddenly he sees the super attack. That's not how that works. So it really doesn't help him at all. Like, yeah, he's got the counter mechanic, but yeah, they just didn't do this guy any favors. Next up, Intelligence Ultimate Gohan. Honestly, the majority of the EZA Gohans are not particularly good. This one in that same boat. 5 key, 80% attack, and defense is only 40%, but you need 7 or more key. Now, he gives himself 5 key, so you're never not going to have 7 key, but I mean, only 40%. Defense, that's just not good enough. And then, of course, Strength Broly, another unit, not good enough. 80% attack and defense only when attacking. So that means that if he gets hit beforehand, then he's just getting hit as naked as can be, and he's going to get hurt very badly. So we're moving up to the King Kai tier, and as you can see, 5 units now on this tier. And I will say this, this tier, again, is kind of a summation of, or summary of, not enough or takes too long, right? You have some units that just didn't get enough stats, or they just take too long to get them. So we first have to take a look at Super Saiyan 3 Tech Gotenks. He kind of fixed some of his errors, right? He's going to be raising his attack on both the 9 key and the 10 key and the 11 key, which is nice. And the fact that, you know, he's giving himself a lot of attack when he's super attacking. But here is the biggest problem with this guy. First off, over in a flash, a lot of key there, 3 key, right? You look at Fuse Fighter, 2 key. That's 5 key right there. Plus gaining the 2 leader skills, right? 3 and 3, that's 6. So now we're looking at 11 key already. So essentially, you have to not get key on the board for him to have defense. If you're getting 12 key super attack, then he's always going to have 0 defense. That sucks. Super Saiyan, Full Power Frieza is kind of in the same boat, right? This guy's got a lot of attack, which is nice, but if he's not the first attacker in the turn, he has a 0 defense from his passive. He only has a 30% increase for 3 turns, and that's essentially just 30% from his first super attack, and then he comes back around, he still has a 30% buff, and then he's going to super attack again and get another 30% buff. So it's really at most 60%. And on top of this, 30%. Do they do any kind of calculations? No, they don't. It's just not that much. I mean, it would end up being like a little over 100% or whatever the case is. But that's just not enough to survive, man. And if you're getting hit before you even attack, then you're just getting demolished. Speaking about getting demolished, this guy can get demolished in the beginning, right? Longer events, he's actually really good. And I like this guy a lot in longer events because he's stacking attack and defense. When you have 8 or more key, you're going to have 80% attack and defense, which you're always going to have. And then the amount of damage he can do is insane, especially with the 40% crit that he can build up. But first 4, 5, 6, 7 turns, he gets beat up bad. He gets really beat up because his defense is down at 7,925, right? Talking about getting beat up bad. Super Saiyan 3 Broly, bro. Why they kept this minus 6% defense when he grabs orbs? Like, he still does unbelievable amounts of damage, right? More than what he used to. But his problem was always defense. And yes, he actually has a semblance of defense now. That's fine. That's fun. But he still drops below 100k defense. And guess what? In ESBR and GT Legend of Goku event, no. You can't have a character that drops below 200k defense, let alone 100k defense, or you're dead. And then last but not least, we have the Buhan, who I actually really like because he's kind of got revitalized with the LR Bootanks coming in the game. But he's still just an old unit, right? 10% defense for every orb you get. So if you get 5, which is actually a decent amount, you're only at a 50% defensive bonus. And that's just not enough. I do love that he does get HP back, 10,000 HP per key sphere. So if you're grabbing, like I said, 10 or 5 orbs, you're getting 50,000 HP. If you're grabbing 10 orbs, then you're grabbing 100,000, which is, it feels quite a bit on top of having Metamorphosis where you're getting health back, which is nice. But besides that, just kind of feels a bit outdated. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so Grand Kai tier, we're starting to look at some heavy hitters, man. We're starting to look up some decent units that are good in a lot of different events. So let's dig into them. So we're first taking a look at this Tech Cell, who's essentially just a nuker, right? You need a bunch of orbs to be able to make him hit very, very hard. 15% attack and defense per orb. I do like that he gains more key for every rainbow orb that he gets, kind of like the 3-year LRs and the 4-year LRs for that matter. And the fact that he recovers HP when he super attacks, that's also good. And of course, Cells just got the ultimate glow up from the link level system. I mean, you look at these links from what they used to be to what they are now, it's absolutely stupendous. And he can actually link well with a lot of different cells out there, because a lot of them, strangely enough, have slightly different alternate names. So he's definitely better than where he used to be. And then if we keep moving, this Kaioken Goku, God tier link set, man. God tier link set. Like, yeah, it sucks that he sacrifices 5% of his HP. That's so stupid. It's really, really dumb. But he does a lot of damage. Greatly raises attack. Gains that bonus for 10 turns, not the normal 7, 10. And then essentially on that 9th turn, he's going to do 1 big attack and it's guaranteed crit. I actually really like that. That's pretty cool. But I mean, really the reason why he's in this tier is just because his link set is so darn good for those Universe 7 characters, those Realm of God characters, those Tournament of Power style characters that will have the Warrior God and the Over and Flash and stuff like that, right? You're going to see him alongside of that LR UI Goku that's going to come out during the 6-year anniversary, and he's going to have a lot of fun. Next up is the Tech Beerus. This dude is still really, really solid, particularly next to Strength, LR Beerus, and Whis, and some of these other characters like Vados and Whis and stuff like that have recently come out, right? I still really like this card because his attack bonus is actually insane. He gets up to 152% attack for 4 turns after he gets hit, which is really, really good. And what I like is that he has that rage mechanic where if you drop below 40% HP, then boom, you're invulnerable. You know, that's really nice. And it can happen 2 times. And there's no turn restriction, so that's really good. And then last but not least, you got the Strength Gogeta here. This guy was meant for offense. A lot of damage if you're grabbing a lot of rainbow orbs. And then attacks effective against all types, baby. What else would you ask for from a Gogeta unit? You know they gotta have it. You know they need it. And you know they're gonna give it to you. And that's exactly what he's doing. And again, another God tier link set. Just very, very good. So let's move up to the Supreme Kai tier, and now we're actually starting to add utility into our 4 units on the Supreme Kai tier, and they're all fun and unique in their own way. Number 1, Strength Perfect Cell, a stacking unit, attack and defense, grabbing HP back, and possible AoE if you get the right super attack off. And what's even better is this guy is great in Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road because he debuffs enemies, which is great, right? Has decent attack and defense, grabs 6 orbs. He's going to get even better. But all enemies, negative 20% attack and defense at start of turn when facing 2 or more enemies. That is SBR, ESBR heaven, my friend. And as I talked before, cells love their link set. It's just so darn good nowadays. Next up, Zamasu, another utility style unit. This guy's actually really good because he buffs up his friends in multiple places, right? You have not only in his super attack, where he's buffing up extreme allies by 30%, but in his passive as well. Realm of God allies, extreme allies, 50% defense, which is really good. He does debuff superclass allies, which is dumb, but you're not going to bring superclass allies on his team because he's just an extreme buffer. Like, that's all he does, right? But what's even better is he debuffs superclass enemies by 20% attack and debuff, or attack and defense. So that's really, really good. And his link set is God tier. He does get hit really hard because he's only sitting at a 50% defensive, mark. But his utility really brings him up. Same thing with this Vegeta, right? Raises attack and defense by 50% for 3 turns. So that's really good. He kind of does the opposite of what Zamasu does, since he does it for superclass allies, right? Realm of God super allies gain 50% defense. Extreme enemies don't lose 20% attack and defense. But he also has a 50% chance of stunning extreme class enemies. So that's insane, right? That's actually crazy that he's able to do that. Go into ESBR, Super Battle Road, and then just boom, stun everybody. Absolutely fantastic. And then last but not least, on this tier, we have the Super Saiyan Future Trunks with the Hope Sword, as they say. This guy's also really good. I mean, the fact that he's buffing up Superclass allies' attack by 30% on his super is great. He's also an Orb Changer. You know how we love Orb Changers. Strength to Int is really good. He's giving himself 20% attack and defense when he grabs orbs, which is good. Because he does it quite a bit, right? Not only strength to int, but also a random type to rainbow if he's facing Realm of God enemies. And honestly, there's a lot of Realm of God enemies out there. Now, if he's if he grabs 7 or more orbs, then his attacks are going to be effective, so he'll actually be able to do damage. But really, he's there just to buff up the team, be an orb changer, and have an okay link set. So we're cruising. We are absolutely cruising up to the Beerus tier, and now we have, we've already had really strong characters. Like, there's not really a lot of duds on Extreme Z Awakening. Even those in the Master Roshi tier are still usable for sure. Beerus tier is where we start getting really, really powerful characters. And we're starting first with this AGL Goku Black Super Saiyan Rose, simply because of everything he does, right? Greatly raises defense on his super. Extreme allies, 3 key, 30% attack. And he gives himself 30% defense every time he gets hit. So that caps at 180, by the way. So in terms of damage, he'll be doing a consistent 2 million, 2.5. But his defense is going to skyrocket. And as usual, Goku Blacks, Rose Goku Blacks, they have such a beautiful link skill combination there. They work really well with other Goku Blacks and Zamasas and all that stuff. And what's even better is that they all have slightly different names, right? So they can just get linked together. Very, very good. In Kid Buu, talk about someone who used to be terrible at linking together and now is one of the best, right? This guy's fantastic. 12% HP recovery on the super. As long as you're above 30% HP, you're going to be sitting at a whole lot of attack and defense. And putting him on a team with Majin Power, let's just face it, you're always going to have him next to other Majin Power characters. They're going to get an extra ki as long as your HP is 50% or more, which is great. And then just extreme class allies in general will gain an extra ki as long as your HP is 70% or more. So if you have extreme Majin Power characters on your team, which you will, Buu Tanks, Buu Han, Super Boos, all these characters, he's going to be giving them 2 ki. And he's going to be sitting at 170% attack and defense. And he's going to be raising his attack and defense on Super while recovering 12% HP. So if you're super attacking 2-3 times, whoo, goodness gracious, that's a lot of HP you're getting back. Strength, Omega Shenron. This guy is very, very interesting because you can use him in a lot of different ways. So first off, he's a full power support, 40% attack, 2 ki. But on top of that, he does 2 things well. Number 1, he debuffs the enemy's defense by 80%. As you can see here, massively lowers defense is an 80% reduction for 3 turns, which you can actually feel that. When it's like just lowering defense by 30%, you ain't feeling that. 80%, you're going to feel it. Number 2, he's lowering enemies' attack by 40%. That you definitely feel. A 40% attack reduction is beautiful. So again, Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, this dude is very useful. And then last but not least on this tier, we have the Physical Goku Black, an older Extreme Z Awakening back in November of 2019, but still extremely good. Lowering attack and defense on the super. But what I love that he does on Global is, and this is Global got the big W on this guy, Extreme Class 3 ki. Extreme Class 3 ki. Very, very good. Also, Orb Changer to Rainbow. And if he's facing Goku's family, he gets really, really strong, right? And he also gives himself a bunch of ki. So that's really good. But I've mentioned it before. Goku Blacks, man, their link sets, Fear and Faith, Nightmare, Kamehameha, Prepared for Battle, Dismal Future, Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle. Great, great link set, great ability, and just a really solid unit that doesn't get talked about as much as I think he should still to this day. We've finally ascended to some of the top, right? We're up at the Guide Angel tier. This is Whis territory. This is Vados territory, right? The ones who trained the gods of destruction. And there's 4 very powerful units that need to be talked about. So, number 1, one of the best tanks in the game, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. One of the best units you can possibly bring into Extreme Super Battle Road or Category Super Battle Road. Why is that? Well, 50% chance to stun is always a good thing to look at. 80% damage reduction for 10 turns is something to look at because guess what? If you ain't beat Super Battle Road in 10 turns, lights out for you, my guy. Light is out. And he's going to actually give himself some form of attack if the enemy is stunned, so it's a coin flip on whether you do that. But it's really his tanking capabilities and his high chance to stun which make him such a great choice for Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road. And for people that try to say like, oh, dude, I've seen on the Reddit, oh, this is the worst EZA in the game. Play the game, for God's sake. Stop just fiddling with numbers and actually play the game. Have him save your life in multiple events and then say he's the worst EZA in the game, you dum-dums. Physical Kid Buu is next. And man, oh man, this guy, one of the best supports in the game. I think he's been replaced by certain characters that have come out, like Demon Goddess Toa, and the Vados is really good. You know, you have some really Supreme Kai of Time. You have some really, really good supports now in the game. But for a while, this guy was the best of the best, right? Lowers defense, whatever. No one cares about that. It was his passive. 2 key, 50% attack and defense. 5-0 to all allies. Not a certain category, not a certain type, not super or extreme only. No, it was all allies. 2 key, 50% attack and defense, as long as your HP is 50 or is 80% or above. And oh, guess what? Even if it drops below that, everyone is still getting 30% attack and defense. Everyone's still getting a fat 30% attack and defense. So, link set, God tier, as we've mentioned before. You got the Majin, you got the Brutal Beatdown, More Than Meets the Eye, Big Bad Bosses, Infinite Regeneration to get that HP back, Fierce Battle, and Wall Standing Tall. So, still absolutely incredible support unit. And now we're looking at an incredible offensive unit in the Int Gogeta. The fact that this dude just does a whole lot, depending on how many Rainbow Orbs he gets, is ridiculous, right? First off, attacks just effective against all types. That's just the first line in the passive. They didn't even mention the attack and defense yet. They just said, hey, by the way, his attacks are effective against all types. He's a Gogeta, gosh darn it. And then 30% chance to dodge with 1 Rainbow Orb, similar to the AGL Pycon, right? 40% attack and defense with 2 Rainbow Orbs. 50% chance to crit with 3 Rainbow Orbs. Now, you're not going to see that crit often because it's hard to get 3 Rainbow Orbs. Heck, it's hard to get 2 Rainbow Orbs. But even still, having a... Dude, sitting at attacks effective against all types, 120% attack and defense, 30% increase on defense when you super, and a 30% dodge with just 1 Rainbow Orb, which it's going to be common to get. Hello, that's incredible. That is incredible. And he's a Gogeta, so he links up perfectly with other fusion characters. And then speaking about one last fusion character, the latest EZA that came out on Global, this dude is just a beast, 150% attack and defense. He now doesn't screw himself. He only is positive on things. So 7 turns, he's going to have a additional 70% attack, 30% defense, and a 30% chance of dodge. That's incredible for 7 turns. And then his super attacks are all good now, right? You're looking at the 10 key super attack, immense damage, massively lowers defense, 11 key super attack, 100% attack increase, attacks effective against all types, and even the 12 key super attack, which you're going to get a lot, 50% increase on the attack, immense damage. So that's still incredible. Link set is good for fusions and youth type characters. So a very, very good EZA. All right, second to last, top tier. Goodness gracious, we're almost on the final stretch home. We're in the Grand Priest tier, and all of these guys are just God tier. They're just absolutely insane. Absolutely ridiculous. If you want to put them all in the Xeno tier, in the very top tier, you can. That's I wouldn't have any problems with that. And so let's talk about them a little bit. Physical Vegeta Blue. I mean, what more needs to be said about this guy? One of the best offensive units in the game. Great for countering as long as you just dump everything into crit. His only problem is if he gets super attacked, he gets hit really hard. You guys already know the deal, right? Next up, Android 17. Honestly, if he had a better link set, or if they just added more characters that link better with him, then he would legitimately be one of the best characters in the game. And I mean that like all the way across the board. Because not only is he a support for target Goku, giving them a 17% chance to crit, 1-7, right? He starts with 40% damage reduction. He starts with 30% attack. And he's going to gain an additional 1 key, 30% attack, and 6% damage reduction whenever he gets hit. He's going to cap at 3 key, 150% attack, and 70% damage reduction. And oh, by the way, he's greatly raising his attack and defense on his super. So he's going to be untouchable, and he's going to get hit very, very hard. He's such a great EZA. He just needs like Hellfighter 17 to get an EZA and a bunch of other characters, right? Next up, Golden Frieza. Potentially one of the best standalone Golden Frieza cards in the game. You're looking at 80% attack and then 80% damage reduction as long as you're above 50% HP. But here's the kicker. Even if you fall below 50% HP, you're still getting a 50% attack bonus and a 50% damage reduction. That's absolutely spectacular. And this guy can hit very, very hard. You just dump crit into him. Oh my goodness, he hits extremely hard. His only problem you can argue is his links, with Resurrection F being a terrible link, Super God Combat being terrible, and then the rest of them you can definitely find, like Universe's Most Malevolent and Strongest Clan in Space next to the Freezes, but these two are really bad because they're just speaking about the Resurrection Frieza movie. Moving along, we have Strength Janemba. Both Janembas are just top tier, this guy being one of them. I mean, he is a bit more in turn strength, whereas the Janemba is a bit more over time strength. So what I mean by that is he's going to guard all attacks, right? 30% chance to dodge, and then chance of dodging 10% every time he dodges for that turn. So if he dodges, he's now going from a 30% chance to dodge to a 40% chance to dodge. He dodges again, he's now at a 50% chance to dodge. Dodges again, he's at a 60% chance to dodge. Resets back to 30 at the start of turn. So that's really good, and he's still going to do a lot of damage. And then, of course, you have the int EZA of Janemba, who for a while was the best EZA in the game. 70% attack and defense. Guard still active against everything. 30% chance to dodge, but when his guard is activated, so not when he dodges, but when his guard is activated, and his guard is always active, so as long as he gets hit, if he gets touched, he will gain an additional 40% attack for 4 turns. And that actually calculates at 138% attack. So that's really, really, really good. All right, without further ado, let's drop the final 2 EZAs at the top of the Xeno tier. I think no surprise here, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So you're looking at cards that are potentially better than their LR equivalents, okay? That's how good these 2 Extreme Z Awakenings are. So let's take a look at what they do, because they're very similar to each other. They're just slightly different. So this guy's going to greatly raise his attack for 1 turn, so that's a 50% increase on his super. He's going to greatly lower defense, so that's a 50% debuff on the enemy super. And he stacks his defense by 30% for 6 turns. So that's pretty good, because you super attack once, 30%. You come back around turn 3, super attack again, you're now at 60%. Come back around turn 5, an extra 30%, right? So that's very, very powerful. And then his passive skill, 150% attack, 120% defense. When he supers, he gains an additional 40% attack, so that is calculated to 250% attack. And then he's got a 30% chance to dodge super attacks, and then he'll counter with tremendous power. So this guy will do unbelievable top tier offensive numbers and unbelievable top tier defensive numbers. And then you have the Vegeta, who kind of does everything but in reverse. So he's still going to have 150% attack and 120% defense. He's still going to get that attack bonus, and he's still going to have that dodging of super attacks with tremendous counters, but his super attack is going to greatly raise his defense by 50%, and he stacks attack for 6 turns. But what can be said is both of them are going to do monstrous amounts of offense and monstrous amounts of defense turn 1. So you can just put them anywhere, and they are going to look strong. And with more Super Saiyan 4s coming out and Giant Ape powers and things like that, talents like Saiyan Roar, which are so overtuned, 25% attack and 10% defense, are going to be showing up more and more, a lot easier. And so that makes these 2 just beyond broken and definitely belonging in the Xeno tier. Listen, if you have any comments, if you have any opinions, drop it in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'd also love for you to join the channel and join the club. You can do that by clicking the blue join button, become a boomer champion like Joe V and Wolverine Gaming, or do it the free-to-play way. You can gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.